We are live. Welcome to the community conversation. I am Donya Craddock, your host for Community Conversation. You guys, I hope you enjoyed that intro. We have an amazing conversation about the upcoming Fort Worth African American Roots and Music Festival. But before we jump into the conversation, I want to let everybody know I'm Donya Craddock, co-owner of the Dock Bookshop. The Dock Bookshop is one of the largest African American owned bookstores in the Dallas Fort Worth area and in the Southwest. The Dock Bookshop is nestled right in the middle, right in the center of the between Dallas and Fort Worth. The Dock Bookshop is a full service bookstore, meaning that we have all genres in store, and what we don't have in store, we can order it for you. In addition, the doc also sells home care and personal care items. So stop by the Dock Bookshop whenever you're in the Texas area, whenever you're in the Dallas Fort Worth area. Yes, we do have an exciting conversation talking about the upcoming Fort Worth African American Roots Music Festival. And who better to guide us into this great event that's coming up this weekend than none other Brandi Waller-Pace. She is here. If I had my bells, I would just be ringing on. She
You
is
gotta go
Fort
get
Worth
your
based
banjo.
musician. Oh yeah, the banjo, a musician, educator, organizer, and scholar activist whose work is driven by centering the narratives of oppressed people and building equity in music learning. And she has her organization Decolonizing the Music Room. Welcome, Brandi Pace, to Doc Live.
Thank you for
Thank
having
you
me.
so much for. I want to say, oh my gosh, Brandi, I have to get some newspaper. I wanted to read all these articles. So, real quick, tell everybody what I did not share about you because I got to get these articles to read. I got to get them. So, I want real quick. I just want you to just share who
Yeah,
you are. Talk about decolonizing the music room. I want you to talk about all those different organizations that you're a part of before we talk about the festival this weekend. Okay?
sounds good. From Atlanta originally and went to Howard University for undergrad and grad school, majored in jazz studies, then moved down to Fort Worth and started teaching music in Fort Worth ISD. I taught for a total of 10 years in the district, a couple years in Lake Worth ISD, started doing some curriculum writing, racial equity work, was performing around in the area, connected with the nonprofit Arts Fifth Avenue as an artist in residence, and then started picking up more instruments. And about 10 years ago, I picked up the banjo and folded it more into my work. Um, a few years after that, I started the nonprofit I run, Decolonizing the Music Room. Mission is uplifting the musical traditions of Black, Brown, Indigenous, and Asian peoples through education and performance. And we have several programs. Fort Worth African American Roots Music Festival, or FWAAMFEST for short, is one. We also have a community artist visiting educator program. We have a Black, Brown, Indigenous, and Asian music symposium, and we maintain website, YouTube, Facebook page of free educational musical resources created by culture bearers. And we do professional development, consulting, presenting, and all that good stuff. And outside of that, I gig as much as I can in DFW and beyond. And I gig on banjo, but I also still do my straight ahead jazz gigs and get opportunities to speak and curate and do stuff locally and around the country.
Thank you. You're just a busy bee. You're just a busybody. And I said, there is so much going on this weekend with the Fort Worth African American Roots Music Festival. And I said, oh, you guys, I am going to interview Brandi tonight. And I know it's like, so just to get us all who aren't paying attention to everything that's flying on social media, to all these different things that are going on, because I mean, I was driving down the highway, you guys, and I seen Fort Worth Music, African American Music Fest. So it's everywhere. So we have, I'm telling you, this young lady has done her thing in terms of getting the word out. And also the newspapers that have the press that have covered us. So shout out to Fort Worth Black News, shout out to Texas Metro News, and then Fort Worth Weekly actually came into the store. They said, Donya, you're interviewing her tonight. Make sure you read all the so So I got one. Wait, which one? Who's on the cover of this one? I got to share this with you because they just. Oh, this is the one with Miss Opal Lee on the cover. I don't know if anybody can see it, but it's just Opal Lee on the cover. So
Yeah.
I know, and they said um, the sixth annual Fort Worth African American Roots Music Festival returns to the Southside Preservation Hall on Liscombe Street, Fort Worth. Number spotlighting the blues, gospel, folk traditions that shape American music, you guys. Presented by the local nonprofit Decolonizing the Music Room, and she has her whole lineup, which we're going to talk about. And
Mhm.
then said, Donnie, you've also got to talk about you guys. I'm into newspapers again. You know, I'm really into newspapers. So again, shout out to Fort Worth Black News, Texas Metro News, Fort Worth Weekly, and
Yeah.
then they got this women's cover. It's on the women's issue, and I know this is crazy, but it's called Crosstown Sounds, and this is what. Did you see this one? Did you see
That
this
one
one?
I saw. It was
Huh?
it was some good coverage. That one I saw, and it made me really happy because I got to talk from like my musician hat and my organizational hat, and I don't always get to talk about both at the same time. So that was really cool.
Oh, and one of your artists is on here. I don't. I hope everybody can see it. That she's covered
Lady
right.
A.
Yeah, so it's Crosstown Sound. Several outstanding women artists will take the stage at this year's sixth annual Fort Worth African American Roots Music Festival at Southside Preservation Hall. And they talk about Martha Redbone will share her culture through songs and storytelling drawings on her life experience as an Afro indigenous mother. Los Angeles-based street singer, guitarist, and roots music revolutionary Sunny War will perform. And we're going to talk about Sunny War, Lady A, Bar, Cactus Rose, and all those different groups that you guys seen in the intro. And then this last one, Brandi. And which one? Who's on the cover of this one?
Which one is that one?
Y'all, shout out to the press. Oh, this is I already did this one. That's Miss Opal. So again, shout out to the press.
I've been really appreciative of the coverage that we've started
Okay,
to.
this is just a regular Fort Worth weekly. So this is just a regular press, and they just was doing oh, a night and a day. That's that section of the newspaper. It
Okay.
was called A Night and a Day, and it's the sixth annual Fort Worth African American Roots and Music Southside Preservation Hall. So just and this one actually, I see Rihanna is on this one. Rihanna Giddens. Speaking of Rihanna Giddens, oh my gosh, show and tell.
Yes.
So, you
Christina.
guys are going to want to come out. I am going to actually be a vendor at the festival. Like I am going to be there, and I'm going to have these books. And I got to do a shameless plug. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but um, it's so much to talk about in this book. I
Mhm.
mean, like she covers the Congo. You guys, she has music notes, and it's just a gift that keeps on giving. A
Mhm.
black soldier song. Oh my God, you guys. So I covered the press. I covered the bookstore. I covered the press. I did my thing on this, and this go recovering early black music and fetch. Wait, go back and fetch. Recovering early black music in the Americas for fiddle and banjo. Y'all, I'm going to have this tomorrow, and you guys, we're going to enjoy it. I am scheduled to be there all day tomorrow. Um, the bookstore runs a very busy schedule, but I knew ahead of time that I was going to we were going to schedule one of us to be there all day, so we're going to be there all day.
Yeah.
So
And
you're
shout
going to
out
have
to
to.
y'all. You didn't tell them about the banjo meetup we do.
I was going. Oh, that's my shameless
That
plug.
Doc has provided
But
us
see,
space.
I didn't know how to jump into that. You know why? Because Sinners. I want to talk about the movie Sinners. Shameless plug.
Yeah.
Sinners. It was Justin and Rihanna that contributed to the song Liqueur. No, what was it?
Old
It's
Corn Liquor. Mm-hmm.
uh-huh.
Rhiannon Giddens and Justin Robinson performed that, and at the same time had a Grammy nominated duo album that's been out too.
Yes. And so
Mm.
I was like, and Rihanna is the one that sponsors the banjo at the bookstore. So like I
Yeah.
was like, I said, I'm gonna have to connect to the sinners. I was like,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm excited to be I was seeing them winning all the awards, and I was like,
Hmm.
gosh, I am connected. through Rihanna. I am just connected through banjo. I am connected to what Brandi thought enough of the bookstore to say, hey, I want to do these banjo classes at the Dock Bookshop. And that just connected us to just all the amazing things going on with roots music. So thank you very much. So
Thank you.
so about the okay, where did the concept come from? Before you let me back up. You guys, we're going to get into the lineup, but we're going to go deep with Brandi. And please share. This is an amazing show. Share, share, share. But where did the concept come for Fort Worth African American Music Festival?
Hmm. So, like I said, I picked up the banjo about 10 years ago, and I was really lucky. It only took me a year or two to connect with other Black folks picking up the instrument. And you speaking back to like that interconnectedness, it's that's kind of what the banjo has been for so many of us, because the instrument has such a like a deep story, American story, Black story, created by enslaved Africans, so on and so on. So I connected with more folks and started going to some gatherings and learning about some of the historic gatherings that focused more on Black folks. And I remember going to a, I guess, like discussion panel up in West Virginia, like maybe 2018, 2019. And
Mm-hmm.
we talked about diversity in the spaces and brought up the conversation of diversifying a space versus creating a new space. And I tend to be, I feel like we're similar like that. Like we start stuff and get excited about starting and creating and bringing people together. So I was like, you know what, I can start something. I can start something in Fort Worth. And not only would we have all of this in the city, but then people would come and I wouldn't have to fly everywhere else to see everybody from the crew. But we could really start to build something. And I imagined, maybe Fort Worth will be the place where, we have little kids playing the banjos and people learning the fiddle and jamming and making music together, and people who grew up with this as their normal. So I had that plan in mind, and the shutdown happened, and I've been asked to curate a couple of online events that were kind of old time roots folk bluegrass centered. And it was really helpful in terms of how to talk to management and how to get contracts together and just introducing me to the scene a little bit more. So the plan was to have FWAAMFEST start 2020, but things were not opened up enough for it to be safe enough for artists to feel comfortable coming. So we did an online premiere 2021 and then premiered in person 2022. And this year is the sixth year.
Wow, what an amazing journey.
Yeah.
I've just been watching your journey, and I want to say I've always been watching your journey, but when I got really deeply connected and just was interested in the history,
Mhm.
when you interviewed the book My Black Country, and I mean that interview you did for My Black Country was an amazing interview. You put your all
I'm
into.
sorry, I cut out for a second. My Wi-Fi was being finicky.
Oh, okay, that's all right. I was talking to you. I was talking about just my own experience when I really got involved, and just kind of center myself around the history behind the banjo and country music. A lot of people got involved with when it was Beyonce, but I was always checking in. And Alice Randolph, My Black Country,
Yeah.
really appealed to me, and you did that conversation. So, um, and I think that was a couple of years ago. So that was
Hmm.
a great conversation, and I think that's to me what made it important to center African American roots music in today's cultural landscape. Now,
Yeah.
how was that important for you to center African American roots music in today's cultural landscape?
So I think it's two aspects. One, it's my own history. So when I picked up the banjo, I had heard it, I had seen it, but I didn't know that it was mine and my
Mhm.
people's. And finding that
Right.
out was just like a deep, like recovery process and a deep dive and connecting. So just from like my own, cultural background and me having Black children and wanting them to know about our history too, that was a big thing for me. I was still teaching in Fort Worth ISD when I picked up the banjo and taught all that. And a big part of my teaching practice was not only do the kids need to all be represented within the classroom, I want to make sure I'm representing narratives of where we live and all over the world in a way that includes everyone that truly contributed to it. So I was very excited as an educator to bring that out. And then just my broader work as someone doing racial equity work and advocacy in the community locally and in other places, and just seeing that there were other people forwarding this story and knowing why it was so important to combat the deep erasure and marginalization of Black folks in our history. And it's been, just a movement to jump onto and follow in the footsteps of people like Rhiannon Giddens and Justin Robinson and folks who have been telling these stories forever, but now there's like a little bit more edge to the momentum around it.
You mentioned Rhiannon Giddens. I actually first got introduced to her again through My Black Country because it was an album that accompanied the book. And at that time, she had been a Grammy Award winner, so I even brought in her albums into the store. So her and Jake's book album. But I wanted to jump into the music and the culture and the legacy. When people hear roots music, right? What do you want them to understand about its connection to Black history?
Yeah, first I have to say roots music for us, because these terms are, not super set in stone. But for FWAAMFEST, it's old time string band, country blues, jug band, super early blues, a little crossover into early jazz and folk, bluegrass, that kind of stuff. And a big thing for me, going back to the banjo too, or even extending to the fiddle and all of that, is like when Black folks show up in these spaces with these instruments or show interest, we're still often looked at as if we're like the odd ones out, like kind of the interlopers, And the biggest thing about it is, we just like we built the foundation of so much of what is now called the United States, we built the foundation of so much that is considered quintessentially American, musically, culturally, all of that. And it's almost like seeing something all around you and not realizing that you have a deep connection to it. That has been a really big motivator. But then also folks who aren't Black, like we still need to know the full story of everyone's contribution and the history and the culture and all this. And music is such a heavy part of so many people's lives. And there's so much of what you hear at FWAAMFEST that people have grown up hearing, heard for decades and decades. Their parents listened to it. It's just in popular culture, but with us completely removed from it. And it's a really good entry point. I was talking to somebody recently, and I can't remember what they asked me, but I was like, the story of the banjo, and then finding out, Black folks made this, and slave folks in the Americas made this. And then that opening up the question, like, what else is it that we didn't know about? What else was erased? What else was hidden? And the music part is such a big entry point.
I've been watching documentaries, and a lot of documentaries, especially in Africa, especially when they get into the rural areas of Africa, there's instruments. Or when you're just any area in Africa that they're doing documentaries and they bring out instruments. I said, that's the banjo. That is the connection. It is so relevant now that you guys, okay, I'm taking banjo and I'm a poor student, but mentally I am connecting to all these different documentaries, all the different conversations, everything that's going on in Africa. They always highlight African music, but then there's always that I'm seeing that remnant over and over, because this is what education does for you. It enlightens you, and it really enlightened me. Like, I can no longer just look at those documentaries, just music. No, that's music that has come down through the generation and into the African American experience. Like, I'm wow when I'm watching these instruments, and sometimes I'm just watching documentaries. They're in French and all these different, Spanish, Portuguese, all these different documentaries that they have, and now I see them from a different lens because I'm working with you all. And even before we start our practice sessions, our jam sessions, our sessions, or training sessions, it's always this documentary that goes over the history. So the more and more I get informed about the history, the more and more I just start appreciating the banjo and getting rid some of those misconceptions which you talked about early on, the misconceptions that we have about the banjo and the history of the banjo.
Yeah.
What do you expect the community to take away by going to FAMFest?
Yeah, it's a mixture. So, of course, for Black folks descended from enslaved Africans who make up the majority of Black folks here, I'm hoping they'll get that tie I got. Like, this is my own creation, right? This is part of my
Mhm.
culture. This is part of my history. We are everywhere. And not just figuratively, like, we are all up in this stuff. Black folks in the diaspora, seeing those connections that you see to the cousin instruments on the continent, and the ways that we make music and the ways we relate to each other and storytelling. And then folks who are neither get to see, again, like a full story, because you get the joy of the music making, right? That's going to happen anyway. But storytelling is such a huge part of how we keep going on, and how we persist, and how we maintain our culture, and how we have understanding of where we fit in the world in relation to other people. And for me, storytelling is such a powerful tool. So anyone who comes in is going to get a lot of fun, but they're going to get some really good stories. And that connectedness, I think, is what I want everyone to take from that, whether it's a deeper connection to something you didn't know fully about, or that and it being part of your own culture that you had no idea about. And also just like the idea of how intergenerational it is.
Oh,
A lot of this
yeah.
is, I'm making music with someone who's a grandparent age, and someone
Mm-hmm.
who is the age of my teenage kids. Like, it's popular music segments us a little bit more, but a lot of these traditions like maintain their intergenerational parts, and it's something that I want people to get, or receive as like community practice, you know?
Mm-hmm. You guys, thank you for tuning in. I am with Brandi Waller-Pace, just an excellent musician, artist, and everything. Reader. And we are talking about, yes, Fort Worth African American Music Fest. Um, and, just share, share, share. I do want to say that I had the honor of being on the same, I guess, program when we got honored for the Arts of Fort Worth.
Yeah.
We got honored together, honored as an advocate. And yes, I was just like, I'm in company of Brandy. Ooh, oh my gosh. But no,
Right
just,
back at it.
and it was an amazing event. But also, I do want to share that they're a part of this, sponsorship as well as Smithsonian's Folklife. Can you speak on that?
Yeah. So, FAMFest 2026, this was an amazing surprise when we got the email and got the call. The Smithsonian Center for Folk Life
Uh
for the
huh.
America 250 has been extending out into communities across the nation and focusing on events, culture, folk life, for the people, by the people, and of the people. I'm trying to see if I'm
Right.
remembering the three legs correctly. But they reached out to me and offered to collaborate with FWAAMFEST. And we're one of only 40-ish events across the country that they'll be working with spring through the end of this year. And it is providing program support that is not only allowing us to keep with our practice of equitable pay and make sure that the funding and stuff is there, but we'll be able to do things like start actual digital archives, have that process going, looking to ASL interpretation, just really able to set some structure that allows us to maintain the knowledge that we're building with the event and also accommodate better. And again, artists being properly taken care of is a huge motivator in this event as
Mhm.
well. So we've been able to do that. And there are a few of our artists who have albums on Smithsonian Folkways. So if anyone sees from our website, you'll probably see a tag. They did a shout out post because Jake Blunt, who we talked about earlier, who was also a music consultant to Urinson and Kugler on Sinners, released a couple of albums on Folkways. Kaya Cater, who will be down here, Dom Flemons, who headlined last year, the late Phil Wiggins, who was gracious enough to be part of our very first Wham Fest, and a few other folks. And hopefully we'll get to dig into some of the Texas artist, historic Texas artist on that label as well. But yeah, the Smithsonian thing is just pretty unbelievable.
I know,
Got an
I thought
instant.
so too. I was like, wow, I was like, is it the museum? And then, I've been, stalking you. So I was like, okay, it's the folk. I'm stalking because
Center
I'm
for
trying to
Folk
make
Life
sure.
and Cultural Heritage.
Yeah, so I'm trying to provide to bring the best in terms of our product that we have at the store. So when you do that, and I hope all vendors tend to do this is really research the programs that you're going to be, not just show up as a vendor. Like
Mhm,
when we
mhm.
when we're vendors, like it's an experience for us. Like we get all involved and we're sharing and hosting because we want you guys to come by and see us when you're there. So so this was a no brainer for us to say, how can we get on the show and really, talk to people and share with them who are some of these artists. So we're at that segment, you guys, um, to find out all the artists and if we can get a little bit of their bios. And I know Rihanna, she's not going to be here, right? I know she's not going to be
Yeah, she's on our board, but she won't be at the event this year. Hopefully, we'll get her. We'll get her.
I know. I think she's coming sometime this year, though. She's got,
Yeah, she'll be here in the spring. Yeah, so we'll see if we can get her to say hi to everybody because she's been excited about what we're doing.
yes. And again, she sponsors our banjo at the Dock Bookshop. And we're going to have her children book at the festival tomorrow. I don't have one with me, but I have this. For those that are tuning in, I do have this book that I'll have. And while she's gathering all the people that's going to be on the show, this one, she has notes and it's like Congo. But I'm just going to read some of them real quick while you gather. Um, this book right here has notes and ooh, like you can see the notes. And then she had pieces like one was Black Soldier, one was Angola, Papa, Warring Rivers, Congo, Black Dance, Kalimba, a Black Soldier's song. Am I going to learn some of these notes? Am I going to be able to play some of these notes on my banjo soon?
We're gonna work it out. And a lot of this stuff, like
It's
just
going to work.
finding these things notated and together, is just like that in itself is such a big thing. And
Oh,
I
and
remember,
she has art in this. Oh my gosh. I don't even know if I'm gonna have enough tomorrow. I'm gonna have to get some more books. I mean, I am so excited about this. Throw the banjo out too. I just, oh, you guys, this is just so amazing. Christina, Gaddy, and Rihanna, y'all did y'all thing on this book. Y'all did y'all thing on this book. Okay.
and for
So
y'all who have youngins, Rhiannon has a couple of books out. She has Build a House. I can't remember the name of the other one, but she
she
has some
has
kids.
one that's coming out in May. We're gonna
Yep,
have
that's
Bill
the
House.
third. Hmm.
Yes. So we're gonna oh my gosh, it's gonna be exciting whenever I meet her.
Okay, let me. I think I got my thing together. Let me make sure I can talk properly at length.
I wish I had the pictures, you guys. But Instagram. She's going to talk about the bios, but if you want to see them, you go to the Instagram page. It's FWAAM Fest.
Hmm.
It's a lot of amazing information out there. So
Yeah, and we've had we've been able to grow each year, which has been cool. So I'll just go down the list. Buffalo Nichols, who he's done Late Show with Stephen Colbert, Tiny Desk, just as far as some of y'all may have seen him on screen. But he plays real kind of down home blues, guitarist, banjo player, singer, songwriter, and he really leans into like the activist and truth telling stories part of the work and how he writes. You'll see a little bit of him if you look on our Instagram, but following him as well, like he's a truth teller in like a very direct and like lovely way. And I don't know if he's been in Fort. I know he's played in Dallas. I need to see if he's been in Fort Worth before. Some of our artists have not played Fort Worth, and this will be their first time in the city. You mentioned Martha Redbone, who's based up in New York, and she's an Afro Indigenous musician who has like a decades long career. She was raised up in Kentucky and then Brooklyn, and combines her African American and Indigenous heritage and her songs and storytelling, and really being attuned to contemporary issues affecting Afro Indigenous folks. And she and her collaborator actually did the original music and score for the For Colored Girls revival on Broadway back in 2022. So she's also deep in the theater world, and she's one I'm excited to meet as well. We've met virtually, but have not met in real life. I love when it's ones that I've never been able to see before and they finally come down. Sunny War. She is what's the term I saw in her press described it as like punk folk.
It's punk folk. Y'all
Punk
note that. No punk folk.
folk.
I'm gonna
and
ask that question tomorrow. I'm gonna ask the question.
and a
I'm
little like
excited.
southern gothic feeling and stuff. And amazing like singer guitarist was singing, playing like street busking, all that kind of stuff, and things grew from there. And a lot of these artists are just like, you hear those voices and you're like, nobody else can do that but them. Like it's like such a cool, like idiosyncratic thing. There's a lot of voices like that in this community where it's just like, just cool stuff. Um, let's see, Justin Robinson, we mentioned, who he's the Grammy Award winning artist. He, Rhiannon Gittins, and Dom Flemings, who played last year, were the three core members of a group called the Carolina Chocolate Drops, which has been the best known modern Black string band. And they played everywhere, talked about the music, won Grammys together and stuff. So Justin and Rhiannon have done some more recording together, but also Justin is an ethnobotanist and food historian. And you can follow him at Country Gentleman Cooks on Instagram. And he digs into foodways and crops and all kinds of amazing stuff. And in fact, the day after the festival, Sunday at 2 p.m., March 22nd, he'll be showing a documentary with a live documentary experience that he co-produced called German Soul, where he traced African American and Black foodways and found an unexpected German connection to a lot of the food that we're familiar with. But it's film, speech, music, and then we'll have a talk back with D. Barry Mitchell, who is an amazing local food historian, cultural advocate, and we're really happy to be at the Modern for that event. So that's going to be really cool. And of course, on the actual FWAAMFEST day, he'll play an amazing set. He fiddles, he plays banjo, he sings, and he'll also be part of a panel on Black foodways and community gardening with another one of our guests, and with Patrice Jones with Southside Community Garden, and then Quete over in Dallas. So hopefully I'll get a post up before it happens, but they'll have some cool dialogue. Mentioned Jake already. Jake is a Steve Martin Banjo Award winner. He's also an amazing fiddler and guitarist, and he does stuff at the intersection of like traditional old time stuff, but like an Afrofuturistic storytelling. And he's also like deep in scholarship, like he's working on his PhD in ethnomusicology now. And so he's kind of been all over the place and has crafted this this approach to his music that looks at Black past, but like imagines Black futures. We
Wow.
have, yeah. We
How
have
innovative.
what you say?
I said, how innovative. Like,
Oh,
this is going to be amazing, you guys. If you're just now tuning in, we're going over the people that will be performing at FWAAMFEST 2026. And then we're going to go through the schedule. So just be patient. Bear with us. This is great. So imagine.
we got Lady A, who says she's the hardest working woman in blues. She's based up in Seattle, and she has a blend of blues and soul and funk and gospel. So she'll be down here with her trio. And she also is really invested in community education. There's an organization up there in Seattle called the Rhapsody Group that I've had a good relationship, and Decolonizing Music Room has had a good relationship with, and she works with them as well. Again, that intergenerational thing of like making sure to connect with the youth and really teach them these traditions and stuff. And she's another one. You know how we Black women do, just wearing a million hats.
Yes.
I actually have a group called Sable Sisters that will be
Oh,
performing.
no, oh, yes. I think
do.
one of them came over to, one came to the store, the bookstore.
Yes, Shanice that's joining us. And she came
Okay.
to show up in out there near like Clearfork area with me in November. But
Right.
I and Kaya Cater, who's an amazing singer, songwriter, composer. She is Grenadian Canadian, and we met online, and then she played our first in-person FWAAMFEST, and we just got to know each other better. And a couple of years later, we formed our duo Sable Sisters, and Shanice Richards, who is an amazing fiddler, guitarist, singer. She sings old time. She sings jazz. She does everything. Is
She's
going to
very
join us.
talented. Yeah, she just pulled it out and just went to work. I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah, y'all. So we have our monthly Black Banjo meetups, and we sit around and we learn culture and we play together. And when Shanice was in town in November, she came and we did like a real slow like singing jam, and she played with us, and it was lovely.
I know it was ace. You guys, I would show up. The Black Banjo class is amazing. And if you don't have one in your community, I don't know, work on it.
Yeah, because there's other folks on the map trying to go around and start their own
Yes.
stuff. So it's really, there are people doing some amazing work out there. So yeah, if you can't get to ours, there's a lot of great work. And even looking at the FWAAMFest IG, a lot of the stuff that we repost and share shows other folks doing things like this in their communities. Cactus Rose NYC, Afro-Indigenous Americana Act, also based up in New York, and it's led by singer-songwriter Candia Crazy Horse, and has guitar, and I think she just added a third member. There's one member I haven't met, and I think we'll get to have the pleasure of seeing them perform earlier in that configuration. And I don't think she's been down to Fort Worth yet either. So
I mean, you bringing the folks, right?
I'm trying. And locally, we have Kelvin Thomas, who is based in Dallas, sings, writes, plays guitar. I found him online some kind of way. I can't remember, because he's been playing around for a long time. But he released an EP, I think last spring. And it's just like the most like peaceful, beautiful folk sounding, you know, sitting in the sun on a Sunday. EP is so good. And then I heard him at the blues competition with Trinity River Blues Society doing a different style, and his writing is really, really good. So excited to have him in. We have Tafar Waller Muhammad, who is a political strategist and singer, arts advocate, social justice advocate, all of that. And she is going to, let me make sure I get the title of this right before I say this out loud, because she's doing a session that's going to be a little bit interactive. It is Soundtrack of Resistance, Music and Vocal Movements in the U.S. South. And something real cool about Tafara. So we ended up meeting just because her given name is Waller, me Waller as well. So we call each other cousin. But my people are from Georgia, and her people are actually from Stop Six. So she is
Wow.
deep Fort Worth history.
Wow.
Yeah, so it's real cool that we cross paths. Let's see. We got Killer Bug, who is a Fort Worth legend, blues R&B singer. He joined in on a charity event we did last year at the Blank Space.
Okay.
Jay Matthews played, and he joined the band and sang a couple of tunes, and so I was excited that he was ready to join us this year. He's been singing for decades, but also worked at Fort Worth's KNOK radio in the 80s and did like every job at that radio station. So he has deep Fort Worth music, performance, and radio history. We have Ann Harris, who is like self-described roots and blues fiddler, singer, songwriter. She's based out of Chicago and was raised making music and got really into like a lot of cool improvisation and just blazing her own path. And I'll come back to her in a minute because there's another person on the lineup that she's deeply connected to that is going to be on a panel. We have Darcy Ford James, who's a violinist and educator based out in Stockton, and she runs Stockton Soul, which is an organization she co-founded focusing on Black music and teaches the babies.
Now, where's Stockton? Where's that? Stockton, is it California? Or?
It's California, but I can't remember the proper distance from major city. I feel like is it an hour south of like Oakland area? I think that's about the distance. But she also was a member of the inaugural Black Banjo and Fiddle Fellowship from the Oakland Public Conservatory of Music, founded and run by Dr. Angela Wellman. And I had the privilege of serving as program manager for the Black Banjo and Fiddle Fellowship for about a year and a half. So we have a real deep relationship with them. So Amanda Ewing is the one that I have to connect back to the other two. She's based in Nashville, and she is the only known Black woman violin builder in the U.S. historical record ever. There's no one else that's actually been documented.
Wow.
And we know the documentation doesn't mean the truth, right? But it's still really significant. And Ann Harris, who I mentioned earlier, commissioned a violin from her. So not only was it like the first Black woman luthier violin on record, it was the first time a commission like that had happened as well. And then Darcy Ford James, who I just mentioned, bought the first fiddle that Amanda made. So they will also be together on a panel talking.
So is she gonna bring the first fiddle that Amanda made, or
she bought it like within the last year? That's like her main instrument. And then Anne commissioned from Amanda, and I'll have to look it up, but it takes such a long time to meticulously build an instrument. So real cool. And she's also been advocating in just getting more Black folks in lutherie and instrument building. She founded Black and Lutherie, so it's like a luthier incubator to help Black instrument makers get together.
Are they going to do a workshop or anything about?
Well, the three of them will talk about all that.
Okay.
And then separately, Ann Harris will do her own set. And I think during the talk with the three of them, Ann and Darcy will bring little music making into it as well. But also Amanda is a community gardener, so she will be on our community gardening panel in Black ways as well. So again, like our traditions are musical, they're connected to food ways, of course, art, writing, dance, all of that stuff is all together. We have Briar, who is out in Seattle. and is like real old vintage jazz blues. She sings, she plays ukulele, and she just has like this big, like it's almost like old like blues hall style. And she's a lot younger than me, so you see her and she just looks like a lovely magical sweet creature, and this voice comes out and it's just like giving everything. So excited for that. Shanice Richards, who I mentioned, who came in town and played fiddle with our Black Banjo meetup. Let's see, Grace Giverts, who is from Florida originally. She does music that puts together folk, Americana, kind of indie rock a bit. Guitarist, banjo player, and just released a new album last week, maybe. So we'll be one of the first places that will get to hear her perform her new set. We have J.D. Lenoir, who is based in Seattle, and he's half of the duo, the Blue Tide acoustic blues duo. And he got his name, Lenoir, not Lenoir, from he and his father going back to the land where their ancestors were enslaved and tracing back and looking back at that history. And he found also that that plantation was the same place where they enslaved the family of let me see, of J.B. Lenoir, and he is going to do a workshop on the protest songs of J.B. Lenoir, because that catalog goes into some really like deep resistance music. And also he and Jake will do like discussion / song swap, because Jake also has traced his lineage back to the land on which his ancestors were enslaved, and his grandparents' land is not very far from that area. So they're going to be in conversation about finding that history, about what it's done for their music making, and just their walk as a person, and then share some tunes. Make sure I'm not missing anybody.
Brandi, this is so well rounded.
We got a lot of stuff.
I mean, you think you're going from music, but it's the interconnectedness and the cross sections and all those things. Like, it's not just, I mean, we know music, but you pull in all the arteries that make the music, which is your history, which is your creation, which is, making the tool. That is just a whole artery of it. And it's like you have really throughout this, or you and your team has really thought this through. Like, I'm just amazed. I'm sitting here like amazed.
And I got to talk about our free Friday kickoff tomorrow night at Southside Preservation Hall from 6:30 to 8:30. So I started a program called African American Dance Caller Pathways. And I'm sure a lot of people can remember having to do like the square dances and stuff like that in school, but they've always been associated more with white folks. Well, actually, what became those American traditional dances, like the history of them, is people we descended from calling those dances. And part of the calling and the actual movement and the music coming together into what we know today is more like American traditional dance when we think of squares and contras and such. So every year I have the festival, and every year I'm like, does anybody know how to call dances? And some folks are like, I've called here and there, but I don't really call a whole dance. And so I was like, okay, it's time to do a new thing. And there are a couple of callers out in the community who were really excited about possibly working with us. I was up in Baltimore last spring at a festival, and Becky Hill, who is a dancer and scholar and does a lot of community dance work, was like, hey, if you want me to teach.
I think did we lose her in the Wi-Fi? Yeah, you went out for a minute.
I think it's me, and because it's evening, 2 more people are getting, the internet in the neighborhood.
You're talking about Becky. You're
Yeah.
talking about Becky.
Those three instructors have been teaching a cohort of budding dance callers. One is Briar, who I mentioned, who's coming to sing, and the other two are Audra Scott and Carol July, who I know from teaching music in Fort Worth ISD, and they have both since moved on from the district and do their own writing and performance and stuff. But when it was time to start up the cohort, they were interested, and so we're piloting this program, which is consisted of monthly Zoom meetings, but then coming together in person, which they did in January at Amphibian Stage to host a dance kind of geared toward music educators. And the final event is tomorrow night, 6:30 to 8:30 at Southside Preservation Hall. And they will teach.
That's the kickoff event. That's not the final event. That's the kickoff event, right?
Yeah, sorry, it's final of their program. It's the kickoff of the festival. But they'll be teaching dances. It's no experience necessary, all ages. It's free. If you can RSVP online at FWAAMFEST.com, it would be great. If not, you can walk in, totally fine. And then we'll have a live band, and that will be led by Isaiah Seeby, amazing fiddler who Todd has real deep, like several generations back, Texas on one side of his family. So he's learned a lot of like tunes very specific to this area. And he played our dance last year, which wasn't like this program. We just had like a little dance portion at the end of the festival. But he'll lead this full thing with Shanice Richards, the other fiddler I mentioned, and Jake will be.
I love the fiddle. I love the fiddle. And do I have to have a partner when I do the fiddle?
No. Thank you for asking that. No, you just go and you can just dance. It's almost like speed dating, except no pressure. You move and you do this stuff, and it's just like a fun time. It's not like super hard stuff to learn how to do. You can bring your kids, you can bring your date, you can bring your friends, you can just come by yourself, whatever it is, and come dance with us for a couple of hours and learn from these people who have been studying this history and stuff. And then the next day at the festival, they'll have a panel discussion where they talk about the origins of those dances, the Black culture within them, and their experience in the program.
For those, if I make it out tomorrow night, you guys, if you have your camera, do not turn it on me until I get the steps down. Do not have a Donya moment. Okay? I want the steps down before y'all turn your cameras on. Okay, let them teach me first, Lord. Please let them teach me.
It's gonna be easy. It's gonna be easy.
You know I can ruin a beat.
Nah, I saw you playing that banjo. You were on the beat.
Right. I'm gonna be something next year. Come this time next year, I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be a part of the banjo circle, like we do the drum circle.
Yeah. That's what I want. And part of Rhiannon sponsoring that was providing a class set of 10 banjos. So we've been working with those, and they're really like good model banjos. So it's not learning on an instrument you'll have to adjust to later. And
Rhiannon, thank you if you're watching it.
Thank you, Rhiannon. Thank you, banjo auntie. That's what. Oh wait, hold on. So she actually had me design these logos. We did a festival, and she got us all hoodies, and so they say banjo sis and banjo auntie.
With the Sankofa bird. Oh, that is so cute.
I got to design the logos. So sometimes you'll see someone online playing their banjo. They'll have one of these, and that means they were at the festival.
Oh. Yeah, y'all, this is my year to just learn. Next year, I'm be on fire.
Mm-hmm. And that's my dream. Is like we'll have just like the drum circles. People are used to them. They show up. They love it. I want to do that with banjos out here.
I showed it to my sorority sister. I said, I tell them I'm doing the banjo, and they think, Donya, I don't even want to see it. And I did. I take my pictures, the pictures that we take at the end of every class. I sent to my sorority sister. Yeah, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing my banjo, and I'm not thinking about all the problems in the world right now.
If we don't have joy and connection, we can't survive none of the problems.
Oh my gosh, I'm just so happy that you're working with us. Okay, we have to do the schedule. I would pull the schedule up, you guys, but I don't want to mess with technology because
Can I share my screen?
Can you share your screen? Let's see.
If I can share my screen. Let's see what we can both do with this technology here, because
y'all just be patient with us. I'm telling y'all, we
it
can.
won't take that long. It won't take that long. Okay, let me see if this will let me do it.
So you guys, if you have any questions, put it in the chat. Donna, if you can share, I don't know if she's out there, but we do have Rihanna's books on a book list. If you could share that link, or I can probably grab that link. Oh,
there we go.
Add to the stage.
Here we go. So Southside Preservation Hall has a big ballroom and has a chapel that used to be like predominantly a wedding venue and meeting place. So real nice old construction. We have accessible parking and ramps and accessible bathrooms. So if you have any mobility needs, you can get in. There is a map that shows where you can park on the website, and the streets around the area have ample parking as well. We started in Southside Preservation Hall, and if you look online at our YouTube, the first virtual one was us filming with Shiny Box Productions, who's been an amazing partner the whole time. Me filming footage and hosting, and then seeing the cutaways to the performances from everybody else. But yeah, so Ballroom Chapel, it is going to be hot. So if anyone brings things to jam with, the courtyard is open for it. But we're starting off in the ballroom with Lady A, who's going to get us very hyped up because she puts on a good show. And, then we have our room staggered so that when stuff's happening in the ballroom, you can check out stuff in the chapel, go back and forth. Start with Cactus Rose NYC on the chapel side and keep rolling throughout the day. The chapel has more sessions than performances, even though it does have several performances. And then the ballroom is exclusively performances. Oh, and I didn't talk about food, did I? Hold on, let me see. Because we have food.
I know we eating healthy. This is just
we got some good options. Let me see. I'm trying to see if I can shout out our food vendors.
How many vendors are we going to have?
We have 2 food vendors. We have Chicken Chris, who's returning from last year. If any of y'all were there, that food truck, amazing. And they also offer vegan options. And then we have Always Cooking Nola that will be set up inside the kitchen space in the ballroom. And I do want to shout out pricing for a second, because we have some changes in pricing that I think will make more people able to come. So our general admission is $50. We have senior discount, teacher, school staff discount, and that includes whether you teach and work at a public school, private school, charter school, preschool, college, university. We have youth pricing, student pricing, and then kids 12 and under are free. So if you want to bring your kiddos, then they will get in free. And all that we ask is that when you buy your tickets, just select the free kids ticket so we can keep account of who's in there.
And somebody came to the store and asked me, well, what do they consider senior citizens? Like, what age?
I think we've got to do AARP age, right? Isn't that the kind of the standard? Let me see. So I can make sure I'm not saying
right, because they asked me, I'm like, okay, you know what?
I think it's 55, but let me double check. Thank you for asking us online. Oh no, it's 50 and up, isn't it?
I thought so, because
yeah.
Okay, my peer group.
So come on down, all my older cousins.
I'm the older cousin, y'all. I crossed it. And what did they say? What age did they say? I was hoping they said 50. It says 50? Ah,
I don't think they used to do that as 50. And let me tell y'all, I'm not calling y'all old. It's just what AARP says. So this is more discount for y'all.
I told my mother, you guys bring your family, bring your parents. I told my mother, this is our time to, relax. Our bookstore has really been moving since Kwanzaa. So like we've been back to back to back to back to back. I just smile when I see Brandi running all over the place. I know on the 21st, I know I'm going to be there as a vendor, but I will be relaxing. I might, say, okay, I'll volunteer here or there once I see how it's flowing.
No,
But
just go and watch, catch the show.
I fully intend to capture footage because there is so much knowledge, especially with a Quaker going to be there. There's going to be so much knowledge in that room. If
Mhm.
you've heard her read those bios, oh my God, you guys, this is going to be excellent. I just cannot wait. And I am bringing a collection of books. I might have not have them all curated. You guys, I'm behind on everything. Hopefully, I can get some vinyls in. If I don't get no vinyls in, I'll just have some codes where you can buy some vinyls. Hopefully, they'll have some vinyls for sale. You think?
Yeah, so there's a significant amount of artists who are used to bringing their merch, so there's going to be something there. And we also are not going to have much physical merch. Like we'll have stickers, but we have our shirts and hoodies and such. And so we'll have our QR code for people to order those to ship direct. And then we'll probably have some of our previous posters and shirts and stuff that we still have in stock to see folks want
The
to.
stickers are beautiful. I've been passing those stickers out, and I have them on our checkout register. You guys, I am everything Film Fest right
I
now.
wish that I thought to bring one over here, but I don't know
I,
where I put
I,
them.
I'm not at the store. Of course, Donna, she's not doing technology like that, or she could have showed the stickers, but I'll probably bring some out there with me, you guys. So if you stop at the Dock Bookshop table, or if you stop at Brandy's table, you can get some
And
stickers.
we have the bigger ones for sale too, like the
Uh huh.
this size, I guess.
Oh,
Yeah.
y'all gonna get the big ones. Go to her and get the big ones. I have the cute ones that I have at my checkout station.
And you
So
can feel
yes,
free to pick those up too. Um, but I do need to say my own thank you to the doc because, oh, excuse me, I'm a proud East Sider, and my kids and I have been at the doc since they were teeny tiny. So
hmm
y'all
I
have been
gotta find
a
my footage. And
lot.
she's also a doc member.
Yes, yes.
So I am. We haven't been very well about pushing our membership, but we're going to be pushing our membership. And this right now is just, I would have been doing this anyway if she wasn't a member because we're just all in on just what she's doing and what she's been doing for the past couple of years. We're just all in and we try to make it out. She's doing stuff throughout the Metroplex. Actually, she's doing stuff around the country. Like, so we kind of share where she's at. So if you're in the area, you can go check out what those artists are doing. And I pretty much connected every time she shared her artists. I pretty much like them on or connected to them or follow them on social media. Her and Alice Randall, we are totally fans of what they're doing, and hopefully this as a bookseller, hopefully other booksellers can just grasp onto this energy now because it's going to take off. It's going to change. It's you know we're tired of what was trending, like with the hip hop. All that's turning again. All
Mm.
that's turning. So let's get if you can get involved in this. This is a movement, and I had it first, right? I'm always trailblazing and pioneering by myself, and then these young booksellers come on and take it to a whole nother level, which I
Mhm.
truly, truly love how the young booksellers come and just take it and even make it take it to that next level. So,
Yeah.
um, shout out to the book industry. I'm going to try to sell it to all, share with all my booksellers that I know that hopefully they can, you know, apply this into their communities. So.
Mhm.
I thank you for any. Oh, we got to figure out how to connect you guys. I say, you know, again, I talk about communities and starting something like this in your community.
Mhm.
You might want to connect with Brandi, I connected. Somebody came to the store yesterday and was asking for a saxophone as they want to learn saxophone. I was like, okay, customer service. I'm trying to get customer service of the year. So this is what I said. I said, Brandi, do you know any saxophonists? Because he was looking at the flyer, and I was like, you know any saxophonists? And she said, sure. And she had the information like right away. And so, like, definitely, if you're in Nashville, Tennessee, or in other parts of the country, I would DM her and say, hey, do you happen to know such and such? And that'll probably be a way for you to start that in your own community because um, talking to the booksellers right now, you guys, you will want to try to get this started, please.
Yeah. And
So,
chances are there'll be someone I can point them directly to. That's been thinking the same thing and might end up in a lovely partnership like we have with the Dock.
yeah, so I need to put the link in the. I don't know if I can get this link. Oh yes, I can. Here it is. FWAAMFEST. I put that in the chat for everybody how they can go to back office and just connect with you and like the page and oh Donna, thank you. Like the page and share the page. And what else? I think we covered. You guys, she has literally covered all angles. If you don't show up, uh, I'm gonna say it. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it in your face when you come to the bookstore and say, "Hey, I missed it." If you don't have a reason, then I'm gonna talk. I'm gonna talk some major shit because she literally took billboards. She literally in all these the press. And I'm gonna say shout out to Fort Worth Black News, Texas Metro News, and Fort Worth Weekly, the press that I have with me today.
Yeah. And we have KRA Arts. We had a story post today. So you can find it online and it ran on the radio today. So we've been getting some good support press wise.
So I think in terms of the arts community, you guys, they have done their thing to bring it to Fort Worth, and so you can enjoy and learn and love, laughter, all of it is going to be happening on March 21st, starting at 10 a.m.
At noon. Internet. You thinking of your setup time?
No, I'm supposed to be there at noon. I got to tell myself 2 hours early, so that's what I had to tell myself. But for those that are participating at noon, I want to see your face. Come out and check out the Dock Bookshop. Share, tell your friends, tell your family. Be there. We're going to have an amazing day. So
and dance with us tomorrow night too.
Oh yes, tomorrow. Oh, y'all, we got the whole weekend. We got Friday, Saturday, and Sunday.
And Sunday is $10 a ticket, so even cheaper. Come to the Modern and see this great documentary. Spend some time with us and look around at the new exhibition that just opened.
Is Reese Palmer coming? Is she coming?
Not this year. She had a conflict this year.
I know. I've seen her name today when she was just sharing the information. Reese Palmer. So these are all on Alice Randall's album, so I connected to all of them. You guys. Okay, well, thank you, sis. I truly, truly appreciate it. I am going to end it with what we started, our intro. So you guys just see all the stuff that's going on. But again, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. And here we go with our little outro.